G'day Hayden, time to reveal how I'm going to scoop you on something. First thing, I can't do the camera this way, it does my heading. That's better. What I'm going to do, possibly over the course of a few videos, I'm going to do some CW cheating. Well, what I've got planned can actually be bought as a single unit, but I think it's too expensive. The single unit is the MFJ 464. Now, the trickiest part with this is it will accept a QWERTY keyboard. The problem with it is the price. £269.95 or £270. That's way too much. So a year ago I actually came across something on eBay. That's this little tiny board here. It's a Morse code keyer that outputs as a straight key. You can input from a paddle or even a PS2 keyboard. Now I've only seen this available in Australia, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this board, wire it up with one of the cheap and nasty Chinese decoders, and also a little something else to help the Chinese decoder work a little bit better. But first things first, I need to work with this, figure out how to configure it, and get the whole thing up and running. Now then, I had to buy my board from Australia because it was the only place I could actually find it. I'll place a link to the shop of the person that's selling them in the description below. But it actually turns out this is a K11. Now the version I've got, if I can get it to show up, is revision 2.1. Now the website currently shows a different revision. The website shows revision 5.0, but you have two inputs for your paddle. Now if you're using an iambic key, use the same negative as your paddle, but you've got a left and a right. So use the negative of the straight key with the left and right. Now on the opposite side, I have my power on this side. On the new one, it's actually on this side. They swap these two round. Hold it, no. These two are my power. The new one, it's the other two. And the other two on this side are your output to go direct to a straight key input, which you can find on pretty much any radio. And obviously your PS2 keyboard plugs in here. Now there are two things that I may have to move. If I want the LED to be visible when it's in a case, I may have to replace that with another LED and extend that one out. Also, so far I've not found any volume control for this buzzer, so I may have to remove the buzzer if it turns out to be too loud. I did have two mistakes that I made that I wasn't sure about. First of all, the keyboard that I bought, this one, didn't work with it. Turns out this keyboard is also available in a USB format, and it basically converts USB to PS2 internally on this one, so it doesn't work. So your modern keyboards might not work. Instead, what you need to do is try and find as old a keyboard as you can. This one is from the 80s, I don't know. A lot of times you can find them fairly easily, but the older it is, the more likely it is to work on this device. Second of all, what I assumed was a straight key on these two connections isn't actually a straight key, it's a function key. So don't make that mistake. It won't take a straight key input, it'll take iambic input and keyboard for the programming side. You can also use the keyboard for actually sending the Morse code. Now when you first switch it on, use F10 and F11 to set your speed. That seems to be a speed I'm comfortable with, so let's just press F10 and press F12. Let's see if it's saved it at that speed. Oh, that seems good. It says F10 to enter programming, F1 to enter your call sign, followed by F1. Now that should call CQ using my call sign. CQ 3 times. My call sign. My call sign again. And K. Now, there are a number of function keys that you can program for your standard CQ, especially if you're doing contesting. The function keys 2 through 7 you program with the exact thing that you want them to actually say. So you can set one for 599 or 5NN or both. You can have your 73 onto one of them, and program them according to what you would find in a contest mode. A function key 8, and that one is a macro that's designed for beacons. So you can actually set this up using the function key 8, put the beacon call sign into it, and it will basically beacon regular 3 seconds after it's switched on. F9 is used for when you want to tune your SWR. So just gives you a constant tone on F9. You press F9 once, you get your tone. Press it again, stops the tone. F10 is entering programming mode. 11 reduces speed, 12 increases the speed. The escape key will cancel anything you've got in the buffer. So if you're transmitting at a slow speed and you've got your buffer full, but you've made a mistake at the end, you can press the escape key and redo it. Spacebar gives a gap between characters. Left control gives a dip. And the left alt gives dashes. Once you've got it fully programmed up, remember your output will be that of a straight key, because everything will be controlled by the board. If you're using a paddle, you get your left and right on the board, plus your negative, or you can use the left control and alt keys. Other than that, you can actually type using the keyboard. The standard QWERTY characters, you don't need to worry about caps lock or the caps because it only accepts the lowercase. So don't bother with capitals, it's Morse code. And for those of you that missed it, 73, catch you on the air.